Welcome to Gone Outdoors. Kyle Agre and Scott Brewer of Brewer Agre Outdoors. Talking hunting, talking fishing, and talking anything you can do outdoors. Right here on Kello News Talk 1320, 107.9 FM, and KWSN 1230 AM, 98.1 FM, both out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and the mighty 790 KFGO Fargo, 104.7 FM. Today's Gone Outdoors is brought to you by Ray's Sport and Marine, your local Lund Boats and Bennington pontoon dealer in Moorhead. RaysMarineMoorhead.com. Adventure RV across from the Fairgrounds Inn, West Fargo, your number one RV dealer in the FM area. AdventureRVSales.com. Devil's Lake Tourism. Looking for wide open spaces, amazing fishing, and a refreshing escape? Discover Devil's Lake, where adventure, relaxation, and North Dakota hospitality come together. Plan your stay at devilslakend.com. The Outdoor Adventure Foundation. For over 17 years, the foundation has created life-changing outdoor adventures for youth facing life-threatening illness, injured veterans, and first responders. Learn more at outdooradventurefoundation.org. Strand Ace Hardware, Barnesville and downtown Pelican Rapids, proudly family-owned for 70 years. Valley Truck Gear, protecting your equipment. The Outdoorsman, and Onyx Fish Midwest, cast beyond the familiar. And we are so glad you are joining us today. Another month in the books, Mr. Brewer. July is done. We're into the month of August, and that always means there's a whole fresh new set of fun things coming our way in terms of the outdoors, hunting, fishing, and all the things you can do in the outdoors. And whether you're listening in today at work, whether you're at play, whether you're at home, whether you're out on vacation or somewhere in a far off reach, being able to listen to Gone Outdoors, thank you for tuning in. We are excited to be able to talk outdoors with you today. And gosh, Scott, I am still kind of, need I say the word buzzing or humming or excited and fired up about this last week. The Little Pine young angler last weekend, the Lake Agassiz Awards night on Tuesday night. There's just a lot of fun things that are happening. Even though those are seasons that are coming to a close, It's still a lot of fun.
Seasons that are coming to a close. When you said that we've got July behind us, and it seemed like it was just 4th of July. I mean, it goes so fast.
It was 2 blinks of an eye
ago.
The
entire summer goes so fast, and we've talked about it all summer. Get out and enjoy it while you can, because there's never enough time. And those two things you just mentioned, AYA with the Lake Agassiz High School Fishing League, they are now finished up for the year. And it just goes so fast. Everything does.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes quick, but that's what you can't sit on the couch, right? You got to get out and you got to enjoy it.
And that's why it goes so fast, because you do so much different stuff, which makes it fun. We're making memories. I don't know how many times we've seen kids smile in our boats this summer. And that's what it's about. And if we could see ourselves, we'd see ourselves smiling in the boats when we're with those kids, or with our families, or whoever we're with. And that's what it's all about. Get out and enjoy it while you can. Make some memories. And I know we've done that a lot.
Yeah, we've done that a lot. It's definitely worth it. And like I said, you say that sort of tongue in cheek. You can't just sit on the couch. Well, sure, it's easy to sit there and turn the TV on and do whatever. And you got to do some of that too, but grab your radio, tune it to Kello News Talk, KWSN, turn it to KFGO, whichever one you're closest to. Bring the content with you, have the radio on, listen to the sports game, listen to the talk show, listen to Gone Outdoors, and just be out there doing it.
Listen to a Twins game. I've been doing a lot of that lately too. So how many boat captains do we have? And I know you're pretty close to that number. How many boat captains were there last season, this past summer, for Lake Agassiz.
Yeah, well, this year, of course, we increased the number of student anglers we had. That jumped up by a factor of 20-some student anglers
Yep.
above what it was last year. And so we're knocking on 90 different boat captains. Not that there was 90 boats each week, but some of them can only do it for certain days and others. And so it was right in that range of 90. I don't remember the exact number, but right in that range of 90 different boat captains.
Which is amazing, because I was just thinking how you smile and I smile when we take those kids out. Well, that league has created 90 different sets of smiles. 90 times a gentleman had to take off of work for an hour early or whatever on a Tuesday, and he was happy to do so because it's so much fun. And then he came home that night and he's recharged. He's tired but recharged, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And that's amazing what this high school league does. It's a community thing. It's not just for the high school kids. It's for everybody involved.
Yeah, I had someone ask me this last weekend. Why do you do this? Why do you take your personal time and do this?
Do it once and they'll find out.
Yeah, and the best answer is because I can.
Yeah.
And you do it once and you want to do it again every chance you can.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you really think about it, it's because nobody did that for me. Granted, there were people who took me fishing. I'm not saying that there wasn't. I got to do a lot of fishing when I was a kid, but we didn't have high school league. If they would have, I would have been in it every year I possibly could. I would not have missed an event. And that's one of the reasons why I do it for these kids.
It is. It gets given back. It's given back. And hey, we got to do a little shout out here, Scott, before we get too far into the show. And
yes.
Speaking of the AYA, Eric Bjorkman and his kids, Anna and Ethan. And it's Anna's last year. She's 17. She's aging out. They have been fishing this event for many, many years. And this year they came out on top, an incredible 32.79 pounds for 6 walleyes on Little Pine Lake near Perham, Minnesota. They took home the championship honors for the Little Pine AYA. And
super cool. You could not find a nicer family than the Bjorkmans.
Yeah, absolutely. So much fun. And big brother Brian made it back from the NWT in Green Bay in time to be there for the awards and get to see his brother and his niece and his nephew claim that championship trophy. Super, super cool story. Also a shout out to both the West Fargo Packers and the Kindred Vikings fishing team on their wins in the team championship of the Open Division, for the Shanley fishing team for their win in the JV team championship event, and certainly for our varsity Fargo South taking the honors there and coming away with the championship. It was a great, great night for that team championship event, and we got to honor them as well as lots of other student anglers during our awards night on Tuesday night.
Yeah, it was super, super cool. It was a lot of fun, and thank you to everybody that made this student angling season possible.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And speaking of good stuff, we have got some good stuff lined up for the show today. Christine Holland, Executive Director of River Keepers. They got some fun stuff going on. Mainly one we're going to talk about today, and I'm anxious to hear what Christine has to say about this, is the Ruler of the Red Fishing Tournament. And it's a month-long tournament honoring the National Fishing Month of August, and specifically here on the Red River near Fargo and Moorhead. Luke Snow, Hit List Whitetails. He is our archery expert. He's our guru that we turn to when we need some expert advice, and he's going to talk about getting ready for the bow hunting season, getting those reps in now, pulling that bow back, making sure all your equipment is in tip-top shape before the start of the season. John Ferris, Full Stringer Wholesale out of north central Minnesota. He's going to give us an update on bait availability as we head into late summer and early fall, and give us some tips on things we might want to be trying with bait that's available for us at that given time. Lots of fun, a lot of good outdoor talk ahead of us. We really appreciate you tuning in. We're going to take a quick break now, and then we'll be back with more Gone Outdoors. Onyx Fish Midwest, covering 11 states on both iOS and Android. All your fishing information is one click away. Searching for new destinations by species, abundance, or trophy potential, it's all at your fingertips, including access points and shoreline ownership.
You get confused by special lake regulations? They're all on Onyx Fish Midwest. Real-time weather for your exact location, aerial imagery, and waypoint management, all right to your mobile device. Use code BA Outdoors to get 20% off your subscription at onyxmaps.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to Gone Outdoor Radio. You're listening on Hello News Talk or KWSN in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or the mighty 790 in Fargo-Moorhead and surrounding community. Scotty Brewer, Kyle Agre of Brewer and Agre Outdoors, and we are going to chat with somebody we haven't chatted with for, oh boy, been 2 or 3 years, Miss Christine Holland of River Keepers. How are you doing, Christine? You sure are busy with all the different events you got going on at River Keepers.
Yeah, the river's cooperating this year, so we've been doing lots of paddling, which has been awesome.
Yes, paddling and now fishing. So
Yes.
starting last Saturday, I believe it was, August 1st, you started the Ruler of the Red Fishing Tournament. I believe this is the third year that you've had this. Third year that you've done this tournament. And it goes until the end of August.
Yeah, the whole month of August, as you know, is National Fishing Month. So we thought we'd give everybody a long opportunity to get out and enjoy the Red River.
So how is this tournament going to work? You know, if it lasts a month long, do everybody just throw all their fish in the freezer, then bring them all out on the 31st?
No, we want pictures of smiling faces, people enjoying the Red River. So you take a picture of yourself, the fish, and the river, and email it to me at christine@riverkeepers.org, and you get your name in a drawing for, there's 5 $50 Shields gift cards, 1 custom catfishing rod, and then we have a new catfishing guide in town. Tally's Trophy Fishing Charter is giving away a half-day fishing charter.
All right, so you want 1 photo, not 3 photos of yourself, 1 of a fish, and 1 of the river. You want them all on 1 photo.
Correct. You have to be a little coordinated to do that, but yes.
So this is kind of unusual compared to a lot of the virtual style tournaments. Most of them are through an app or something. With this, you just want them to email you the photo.
Yeah, it's just we tried the app, and this seemed a lot easier for just everybody to be able to participate. So plus we get more fun pictures this way. And you can enter up to 5 times if you have 5 different species of fish.
Okay, that brings up a good question, Christine. So up to 5 different species of fish, but are there specific categories for those 5 species, or can they be? I know there's dozens of species that live in the Red River, so
Yeah.
are there specific ones you can enter, or is it any of them, but only up to 5 different ones per person?
Yep, there's over 70 species of fish in the Red River. So any species, as long as there are 5 different ones. It doesn't matter if they're in the same family, as long as they're a different species.
Perfect. Okay, next question is this limited to the Red River within any specific boundaries or anywhere on the Red River?
Yeah, so definitely on the Red River this month of August, not a different August here. And then north, cast 22, clay 26, to south, cast 16, clay 8.
Excellent.
Yeah. That's interesting. So here's a question. Let's say I catch a 23-inch walleye, and I take a photo and I have it submitted. And then the next day or the next week, I catch a 30-inch walleye. I can't submit the 30-inch walleye because I already submitted one of that species.
You can submit the 30-inch, and we'll just have it take the place of the smaller fish.
Oh, okay. So you can submit as many photos as you want, really.
Of course, we want as many as as people want to give us. However, you can only get your name in the drawing 5 times.
That's perfect. And what are all of the drawing prizes?
The $5 Shields gift cards, a custom rod, and a half-day catfishing charter.
So will they be drawn at random, or are they drawn based on photo quality, fish size, that kind of thing?
No, completely random, and you can only win once.
Oh.
I just have to say that Tally's Guide Service, I don't know them directly, but my niece and brother-in-law were out on a guided trip with him a week ago and had so many good things to say about him and how knowledgeable he was and how fun it was. And so that is an incredible prize to be given away with this event.
Yeah, we're so excited to help promote his business. He has volunteered for the Little Anglers Derby as well the last couple of years. So just really excited about that opportunity.
I really kind of like your thinking here with this month-long event because it does kind of limit some of Mother Nature's busyness. How when Mother
Yeah.
Nature tends to ruin things for people, this tends to give you more opportunities.
Yeah, like last year we got an email from a mom who was so excited that this was the little push that she needed to get her family out fishing, and they had such a good time. They were going to go again the next weekend, and that's what we want to hear.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of that. You just got to get them that little push, and you don't know which little push it is, just could create a lifelong passion.
Yeah, so excited to be able to see those pictures too. Last year, somebody submitted a lake sturgeon, which is fun to see all those different species.
Yes, yes. And you said there's over 70 different species. Do you know
Correct.
anybody that has caught all of them?
Game and fish.
Somebody did.
Hey, Christine, in the limited amount of time we have left, I know we have a lot of people enjoying the weekend here right now, but on Monday, you're going to have a cleanup event, which I think is a fantastic thing because all of us that live in the community really need to be good stewards of the resources and the river we have right here in our own backyards. And so tell us a little bit about that event and how people can be involved.
Yeah, so we want people to enjoy the river, but we also want to help sustain it. So on Sign Up Genius, River Keepers has a page, and you can go on there. We'll go out in canoes, so we want to make sure that you're comfortable in a canoe and paddling, and also comfortable getting muddy because that happens on the Red River. Otherwise, you can just email Kimberly at riverkeepers.org and get signed up as well.
All right, that's perfect. And thank you for doing that. We know that you guys spend a lot of time working on making sure that the river stays looking nice between the tree plantings you do and the cleanup you do and all that. And thank you for all that. So, Christine, if somebody wants to know more about the Ruler of the Red Tournament, or just more about river keepers in general, where can they find that info?
We have an active Facebook page, Instagram, and website. Otherwise, just call the office and you can talk to me.
That's perfect. This is Christine Holland. She's the Executive Director of River Keepers. Thanks for coming on Gone Outdoors.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
We will make sure we don't wait a couple of years before we get you on again.
Sounds good.
Stick around. We'll be back with more Gone Outdoors after this short break. This is Scotty and Kyle. If you're in the market for a new fishing boat, you've got to check out Ray Sport Marine in Moorhead. They've got a huge lineup of Lund boats, all powered by Mercury outboards.
From chasing walleyes to pulling the kids on tubes and skis, there's a Lund built for every kind of adventure, with a Mercury on the back to power through it all.
Visit Ray Sport Marine in Moorhead, just north of Menards, or explore their full Lund and Mercury lineup anytime at raysportmarine.com.
Welcome back to the second half of this morning's Gone Outdoors. Kyle Agre and Scott Brewer of Brewer Agre Outdoors Talking hunting, talking fishing, and talking anything you can do outdoors here on KWSN and Kello News Talk in Sioux Falls and the mighty 790 KFGO Fargo. Well, we're excited. The second half of the program today, we're going to kick it off like we have a number of the past weeks with some hunting-related content. And gosh, hunting season's getting closer and closer. And you know what? We flipped the calendar to August. Archery season in North Dakota, anyway, we're within a month. And so I think it's only fitting we welcome back the person that we turn to when it comes to wanting expert information on archery hunting for whitetail deer. That is Luke Snow of Hit List Whitetails. Luke, welcome back to Gone Outdoors.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Well, we've spent a lot of time. The month of July, we dedicated one segment of our show each week to talk about getting ready for hunting season. And, a lot of that conversation was about our hunting lands, food plots, stands, things like that. But we cannot bypass the probably most important thing when it comes to the moment of truth. And that is making sure that fundamentally we are sound with our bow to make that ethical good shot on the deer that we choose to harvest, right? And so let's just talk a little bit about that, Luke. If we've got folks listening in who are archers and you know what, maybe they haven't picked up their bow since the end of last season, they open their case. What are the first things that they should do before they even draw that bow back?
I mean, personally, I'm going to get my bow out and look it over good. Take a look at your strings and cables. Make sure you don't have any fraying or splitting or any sharp edges on any of your cams. Maybe inspect the grooves in your cams. Make sure the channels are straight. You don't want to draw that bow back if there's a cam that's bent or nicked or twisted or has a sharp spot or anything goofy going on. It's always best to just give it a once over, and if you're not comfortable doing it yourself, you can bring it to a local shop that'll certainly look at it for you and make sure you're squared away. But I will say, do it now. Don't wait, because it takes time to get parts and you want to be ready to go come hunting time.
Hey, Luke, here's a question for you. So let's say I just go buy a brand new bow. I'm relatively inexperienced bow hunter, and I go buy a bow and I think this thing's going to work flawlessly because the shop, no matter where I bought it at, could be your local sporting goods store or wherever, could be off of Facebook. So
Right.
I'm assuming I can't just automatically think this thing is going to shoot right just because I bought it from a sporting goods store.
Correct. So yeah, there's definitely a lot that goes into the mechanics of a compound bow, especially. I mean, if you're talking a traditional bow, that's a little more straightforward. But for a compound bow, there's so many different elements that can change your arrow flight and have an effect on the way your consistency is when you're target practicing and things like that. So I honestly think if you were a brand new hunter and you're wanting to get into bow hunting and get yourself a bow, also get yourself a friend or a consultant with more experience, because there's going to be so many things that you're going to want to, make sure you're dialed correctly before you go into the woods or field.
I can't just emphasize that point enough, Luke, because having that mentor that you can turn to, because there's inevitably going to be questions when you practice, questions when you go into the field, questions when you're sitting in the stand, and having someone you can rely on is certainly a big part of it. Now, I know that with firearm season, a lot of guys or gals, they take the gun out once, they plink a couple of pumpkins before season, and it's good, right? Bow hunting's not necessarily like that. We need to develop good habits, right? So let's talk a little bit about that. So practice shooting. What do we want to be doing as far as practicing? Is it strictly the number of arrows, or is it the repetition over time, or what's the factor we want to be figuring in?
It truly is kind of an art form, and there's a lot of dynamics and things behind, having the proper form and executing a shot without, putting too much torque on your bow hand or doing anything goofy with your release hand. You don't want to punch the trigger. There's just so many different things you want to do. I'd say, if you're a new hunter and you get a bow and you want to figure out archery, and you don't have a mentor, number one, I'm always available for questions like that. I love helping people out. However, YouTube is like an excellent tool to, just learn some of the basics. But I think it all depends, in the very beginning, I think you want to ease your way into it. Say shoot maybe a couple dozen arrows every day or two throughout the weeks leading up to deer season. I would say right before season, you want to be consistent. Consistency is the most important factor. I don't care if you shoot 1,000 arrows a day or 10 arrows a day. If every one of those arrows is hitting where you want it to hit, then you're ready to go, as far as I'm concerned.
So, Luke, I know this is just from my own experience. So, just as overall as an expert, definitely tell me if I'm wrong on this. But I always found like there was a certain point, right? And it might be, after 20 arrows on any given night, I was feeling fatigued, and I was not
Absolutely.
shooting as well. And it kind of was like I needed to just put the bow away and come back the next day and start over fresh. Is there something to that?
Absolutely. That's kind of what I meant. I should have dove deeper into that. But like when I said, if you're starting out new, you want to ease into it, because you're right. You're going to hit that shelf, and it's just like, it's like anything else. I'm also a musician. I play guitar. If I pick up the guitar and I play for, say, 3 hours, that last hour is not going to be near as productive as the first or second hour, because I hit a wall with that too. And I think with a lot of the things we do, if you feel yourself getting wobbly, if you're looking through the peep sight and your pin is floating and your arrows are just getting more out of consistency, if you're missing the target more and more as you shoot, then it's time to take a break.
We only got about a minute left, and I got a question about creating hunting scenarios.
Okay.
When do we need to start doing that? Start preparing for that, whether you're shooting from an elevated stand, shooting from a ground blind, or you're putting on heavier clothes. When do you need to start doing that? 2 weeks before the season, a month before the season, 2 days before the season?
Well, that comes with experience. So, I don't want to discourage any new hunters from getting out there and trying to learn the new art form of archery. However, in the very beginning, I used to shoot probably 1,000 arrows a week all summer long. I would shoot in the winter. Now I've been shooting bow for like 30 years. So now I still haven't shot my bow since last year, which I probably shouldn't admit, but I actually got to go pick up one of my bows tonight from the store. I just got a new string put on it, so I'm ready to go. And I'm going to start shooting, 10 arrows a night, and then I'll bump it up to 20 arrows as we get closer. But definitely before season, before you go out there, it's a good idea to shoot with the equipment you intend to be, or whether that be the apparel you're wearing or the equipment you tend to use. I would have your rangefinder around your neck if that's what you usually do, and test out everything as if you were in a hunting scenario.
I would add too, though, you know what? When the opening day comes, practice doesn't stop. We keep right on through the season, keep practicing your craft and being sharp, right?
Absolutely.
Luke, we're out of time. We could talk for hours on this, and I know a lot of folks out there listening would love to sit and listen to you talk for an extended period of time, but we certainly appreciate you spending a little time with us this morning, and we wish you all the best for the upcoming archery season, and we'll certainly be following along and checking in with you as it goes through the season.
Yep. Best of luck to everybody out there. Hopefully we see a lot of big bucks go down this year.
Amen to that. Folks, don't go away. We got to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more Gone Outdoors.
At Acme Tackle, innovation meets results, from legendary cast masters to proven trolling and jigging baits that flat out catch fish.
When it's time to finesse, power, or fill the live well, reach for Kalen's Plastics. Lifelike action, proven colors, and the soft plastics that fish just don't let go of.
And tie it all together with Elliott fishing rods, lightweight, sensitive, and built for anglers who demand performance on every cast.
Acme Tackle, Kalen's Plastics, and Elliott Fishing Rods. Fish smarter, fish harder, and fish confident.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Gone Outdoor Radio. You're listening on Kello News Talk or KWSN in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, or the mighty 790 in Fargo Moorhead. Scotty Brewer, Kyle Agre, Brewer Agre Outdoors. And on this segment, we're going to head out to north central Minnesota. We're going to chat with John Ferris, a full stringer wholesale. He is also one of the owners of Full Stringer Bait, which, if you've been in Longville, Leech Lake, Woman Lake area, you've probably been in one of his stores. How you doing, John?
Good. Summer's flying by.
Sure is. So you are a bait wholesaler. You're more than just a bait seller. You do that too through your retail store, but you sell to many different retail stores. How has the bait business been this summer?
Well, I thought this spring with the low water and the cold weather and then the hot weather that it was going to be a really, really tough summer. And I will say it wasn't as hard to get bait so far this summer as I anticipated it. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. With the low water and the high temperatures now this last 5 to 6 weeks, it is getting tougher. And I think it will continue to do so until we start getting some cool nights, cool days, and some rain falling. We haven't had any in our area.
So I'm assuming you're talking about minnows and leeches for the most part.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Both, that come out of small ponds and as the water, we started with low water this spring with no snow the last couple of years and a couple of fairly dry years. So when there's not as much water, there's just not the carrying capacity in those ponds for them to be able to produce as much bait as they could if they had higher water levels.
So how about crawlers?
Night crawlers have been okay. Most night crawlers that we fish with in Minnesota come from Canada. So it was a little slow this spring as far as getting quantity of big night crawlers, just because they also had the cold spring that we had. But availability of night crawlers has not been an issue, fortunately, this year or most years.
So, John, just while we're on the topic of night crawlers, a question in my mind is when you get them from Canada, are they sourced by people who are out foraging for them, or are they raised like on a farm, on an operation that specializes in raising night crawlers?
They are as far as I know, most of them are foraged. The trawler companies hire crews of people to go out and pick them.
Wow, that's surprising because that's a lot of crawlers. Huh.
That is, yeah. And like I said, I'm not an expert. I don't import them myself. I'm able to get them in batches that are more manageable for us so I can keep the product moving and keep them fresh. So I don't have direct contact with the process or the people in Canada that do it.
So what have you seen this year for angler preference through your bait store? It seems like almost every walleye tournament is one with jigging a crawler for the most part.
Yes.
And
yes.
A lot of anglers see that and they're not going fishing unless they have crawlers. So they might be buying some minnows, they might be buying some leeches. Some guys, there's a lot of old school guys that don't care. They're taking the same thing no matter what. But have you noticed that in your bait store, the changing preferences?
Yes, we have. The crawler sales have been on an upward trend the last couple of years with forward-facing sonar, and guys are figuring out that if they can catch a fish with a half of a night crawler on a jig, it's the easiest bait to keep alive in the boat, especially when it's hot, and a fairly inexpensive bait. So if those guys are able to locate and catch fish with them, that seems to be a lot of guys' preference. Fishing industry, the walleye industry for sure is changing the last few years because of that technology, where guys are able to expand how they fish and really learning a lot of things that sort of prove what we thought we knew isn't necessarily true. As far as where, I always used to think you had to fish within 6 inches of the bottom to catch a walleye. And now they're casting jerk baits out in 30 feet of water, fishing 7 feet down and catching them.
Yep, we had no idea how wrong we were thinking that.
Yeah, most of them they catch are pretty darn big too. That's the thing. Hey, just a question. If we don't see a change in our weather, and typically it does get cooler and wetter into fall, but if this drought continues, what is your prediction on availability for things like the minnows? And fall is big minnow season, right? So I'm sure that's on a lot of people's minds.
Yes, that's for sure. And usually by the first part of August, we start getting some cooler nights and the bite kind of switches back to some minnows, and we're able to start getting a better minnow supply. And if the weather pattern doesn't change, it's going to be tough. I know a lot right now that a lot of people are looking for sucker minnows to fish with, and those are stripped from wild suckers in the rivers in the spring and then hatched and planted into ponds and raised. And a lot of those ponds are drying up or summer killing, because of the low water and the high temperatures. So I think things like sucker minnows could be tough this fall and into the winter. And if things don't change, I think fatheads and crappie minnows will continue to get a little tougher too as we get farther into the drought.
Hey, John, it seems like, and I know everything in life is getting more expensive, and the prices of literally everything. You just got to go through the grocery store once and you'll realize that. But walleye groceries have gone up a lot too. The price of minnows, is that because of availability, or is that because of weather and that kind of thing?
I think it's a combination of all of the things. The trappers, the guys that are out running their trucks and boats and equipment around looking for and catching and these minnows for us, their expenses have gone up. So they've raised their prices. And then with the availability being harder, and we've been dealing with this now, I'm going to say for 10 or 12 years, it's sort of getting to be a more consistent thing every year where there's something that's hard to get. So just basic supply and demand as somebody who buys a lot of minnows from a lot of different trappers or a lot of bait from a lot of different trappers throughout the year. If I'm not willing to pay the trapper's price and buy what he's offering, he can go to the next guy and they will buy it.
Yep.
So we've had to change how we do things just to be able to get bait. We've had to pay more and or travel farther, spend more time in the truck to pick it up. So the overhead has gone up and raised the price. We've worked hard to keep our prices as low as possible and not take too many increases. And fortunately, with doing the wholesale along with the retail, we go through enough volume that we have been able to curb it a little bit anyway.
Well, John, we really appreciate you giving us a little bit of insight into what all goes on in the life of wholesale bait business. And if people want to reach out to you, if they want to learn more about Full Stringer Wholesale or Full Stringer Bait, how can they get a hold of you?
Best way would be the phone number, 218-363-2031.
Perfect. Thank you, John, for coming on Gone Outdoors.
Yes, thank you.
Special thanks to our show sponsors, Ray Sport Marine, Adventure RV, Devil's Lake Tourism, Valley Truck Gear, Strand Ace Hardware, the Outdoor Adventure Foundation, The Outdoorsman, and Onyx Fish Midwest. Thank you for tuning to today's Gone Outdoors. Follow along when you're on the water or in the field. Gone Outdoor Podcast at kwsn.com, kfgo.com, kelo.com, Apple Podcasts, or on Spotify. Visit us at breweryagreoutdoors.com anytime and follow us on social media. Until next week, from Scotty and Kyle, we will be gone outdoor.